Yeah, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to our broadcast tonight. This is teamfortress.tv, and I'm one of your two commentators, eXtine. I am joined by Nicell on production and Marxist on the mic. How you doing, Marxist?
I'm doing great, eXtine, and it's Viaduct night tonight, which makes it even better.
Yeah, nice and sunny Viaduct. We're going to be enjoying the, summertime. We're pretty much in summer, right? I don't know. You're technically speaking, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we're gonna watch some amazing Team Fortress. We got New Godflow versus Ascent Gaming. Ascent have been up there at the top of TF2 for quite a while New Godflow spitting some hotness as they got a pretty talented roster that has been putting some work in and almost upset Froyotech on Metalworks. Of course, almost upset means like 4-3. That's pretty good though.
Yeah, that's a very solid performance out of a team that we don't really know how it's going to perform. Actually, I don't think, since we haven't cast them, I don't think should probably go over their rosters.
Yeah, let's talk about it a little
just
bit.
now. So I'll grab Flow here. So the New Godflow are 404 on Medic, Saigai on Demo, Dingo and Marmaduke are on Soldier, and then Patty and Evil Mr. Muffins are on Scout. But you never know what you can see on Viaduct. Every single one of these players has played a season of Soldier. So, and are talented off-classers as well in many cases.
Yeah, and for Scouts, they got Evil Mr. Muffins and Patty, who has not joined the server yet, but I'm excited to see Patty. He's just a great player. He's got a fantastic mentality and approach to the game. Excited for seeing his Scout and possible Sniper. As I mentioned him, he shows up, so we are making progress towards getting this game going, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and over on the other side, we have Ascent, which are the bright, sunny, and new Ascent, with Nursey on Medic, Campy or Zayler on Demo. I'm thinking I'm just going to call him Zayler from now on, since he seems committed to that alias.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Marmaloo and AIM are on Soldier, and then Yite and High Five are the Scouts. They also have the superior record right now at 5-1, whereas New Godflow are 3-3. Losing to some of the, frankly, lower tier teams in Invite. So, and then taking Froyo to a 4-3, so they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, Ascent did get a win up against Mentality Esports, but have yet to play my anime list, which is one of the 3 teams that New Godflow has lost to. So, not really too much heads-to-head comparative data that we can use, and New Godflow certainly a new team with Patty leading it versus Ascent that's still kind of has some parts that are probably still leading the team in certain directions and making them play a certain style. One of the matchups tonight that I want to talk about a little bit, I think it's kind of like the Froyotech love triangle of medics, where you got Shade, 404, and Nursey. And which one is really the best, and Banny has his preferences. Jade obviously talks a big game. 404, would bristle at the thought that he was cut on performance. And Nursey as well regards herself as best medic in the world, only leaving Froyotech to find new challenges. So how do you think that even if you put Shade at the top, then let's just leave it there as a hypothetical, how do the 2 proteges of Shade match up in this game tonight on Product?
I'd say Nursey's the stronger medic of the 2, just because Nursey has superior survivability. I think Nursey reads situations a little bit better sometimes, but it may just be a playstyle thing. 404 in the past has been okay with committing himself, and really on Viaduct, it's a map that really favors the medic that escapes rather than trying to put out that extra 24 health before they die. As a medic main myself, I came into every Viaduct game with the objective of never dying. Like, if you can get a 0-1 death game, it's a Caribbean cruise at that point.
Yeah, book the holiday, right? Yeah, Vida can be a tough one to stay alive on, particularly if you see some snipers coming out. You know, thankfully, well, it's been a while, but both of these medics do come from a Highlander background, so they'll hopefully, you know, somewhere deep in their TF2 blood and their genetics of TF2, they fear the spy, they fear the sniper, and will stay ducked from that. We probably won't see anything too wacky, you know, outside of that. I'm not in the secret loop of scrims and whether, you know, these teams have been playing anything wacky, or if anything wacky is starting to rear its head in the TF2 PL Pug League. But certainly, you know, the state of TF2, there is space for innovation.
Yeah, and Viaduct is always a map that if your team is a well-oiled machine, you're generally going to do rather well. And the other thing is, if you just have a player that totally outclasses another player on the other team in their equivalent position, it's going to really show. And so that's partly why I love this map so much, because you can see people like Clockwork go, you know, 80 and 20 in a game, just because he was totally wiping the floor with the other team's scouts. Or teams like, you know, the old mix-up that just, they had this down to a science, and they played Viaduct so well together that it was really difficult to beat them. So even if they were having a bad season, they just really understood how to play as a team on this map. And that, I'd be a little scared if I was Flo in this scenario, because they're still a fresh team. Maybe they haven't played together that much yet. And I doubt a lot of teams have been handling this new scheduling by scrimming, you know, the big three, as it were. And I doubt Viaduct really gets practiced that much.
Yeah. And it's definitely, you know, kind of this interesting blend of an instinctual map. It does seem like it's very simple, and it does seem like there's these natural elements of the meta and of the push and pull that you can just like follow and, you know, be aligned with what your team should be doing. But it is also a map that like heavily requires a lot of team coordination. And if you're better with your push outs and your sinking of pressure or bombs, then all that stuff is just going to be way more successful and just flow more easier for you. So certainly does remain to see if, you know, Addy is taking a lot of leadership, or if, you know, kind of Marmaduke, who's really going to be making these aggressive calls, and their New God Flow can, you know, stay together and have an impact against Ascent.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and this would be a huge victory for New God Flow if they do pull it away. So hopefully we see something great. I believe we're getting pretty close to time here, so hopefully they'll get the ball rolling here and get us started soon. Yeah, there we go. They're going to pick their colors. Or colors, if any Europeans are watching. And there we go. So we will see Ascent in the blue and Flow in the red as we get ready to go here.
Yeah, these are the two teams' first meeting of the season, and as we alluded to, certainly an important one for the momentum of New God Flow. They've had a couple losses, and Ascent as well. Will they show some vulnerability here, or, you know, really solidify their place as one of the top two teams in North American ESEA invite? Saiga trying to go for a double bomb. It's the other soldier, Marmaduke, who gets a little bit further in. Both of them going down, taken care of easily. Dingo on the demo man, backing up to the left-hand side, bottom edge of cliff. Looks like they will get back out all right. With the slight advantage on the overcharge.
Oh, we've already seen an audible with Saigai coming out as soldier, which is exciting to me. I loved Saigai's soldier play over last season and the LAN as well. It was a revelation. So really happy they've gone to that. We do still have no Uber on the field. Nursey just now got it. So 4-4 is kind of vulnerable. Big air shot comes out on Saigai as he tries to cross over. They're on this point now, though, trying to bait this Uber in, essentially. Bomb over on the side might take out... Nope, it's not going to happen. It's just a trade. Nursey gets forced, though, as the Uber gets popped and comes in. And the point is super capped for red right now, which is solid if you're Flow. But 4-4 is going to end up falling to his death, basically. and that's going to cause a disaster for Flow. But Ascent doesn't have the players up here right now to really take it. I think they're going to grab it.
Well, yeah, Ascent already controls it. Flow weren't able to finish that capture, so they're just completely happy with its backside of rock defense right now. Flow being so far back. Flow is going to try to come in and finish the point. Patty pressuring it, but they're going to need to be able to follow this up with frags. Thankfully, they do get Yite and Ames. Evil Mr. Muffin's going down in exchange. Delpo is behind New Godflow. Sai has spotted him, though, and Marmaduke trying to chase him as Delpo jumps around. Delpo is going to get some nice around, get some nice damage on 404. 404 staying alive. I think he hit a good arrow across, and as I was mentioning that, he actually went down to Zayler. Side guy jumping forward, so does Marmaduke, trying to get damage out here on Nursey. Zayler's going to eat a lot, but he does survive in Ascent this excellently right now. They've recaptured the point. Still maintaining a minute advantage on the clock and only a minute and a half left to hold, and with an overcharge advantage.
Yeah, and that in the general rule of thumb thing for Uber is you're going to assume that Uber buys you a free 30 seconds unless your med gets domed or stabbed. And so they're going to end up with a cool minute and a half here by the time this is all over. They're sacking in all they can. They do get Zayler, but I don't think that's going to be anything other than that. And that's going to be another 30 seconds off that clock. So that's going to put Flow in a position where they've got half a minute to try and recap it and hold for 2 minutes and 30 seconds to win. So a tall order as they're coming out here.
Yeah, and they're just getting a little bit of damage on aim to start this engagement off, but it's pretty slow. Sai does start to make a skip jump, but just ends it on the point instead of trying to go across onto the ramp. Picked up the bottle on the side, but now taking a bunch of damage. He's going to have to retreat and wait for an arrow from 404. 404 hooks that up, but Marmaduke Grills has gone down. Delpo slips through the side, kind of unnoticed. Dingo trying to get eyes on him as the Ubercharge goes forward. Ubercharge forced out from Nursey as well. She's at 60 health as this fades down. Side guy jumping up top to protect 404 from Delpo. Patty has gone down as this long fight continues. Looks like we will be getting a little bit of a breather here as Ascent maintains control here of this point. 20 seconds on the clock.
It was an interesting play to let them take the point when you had Uber, but I think it's turning out okay because it really put Flow against the wall here, where they had almost no time left yet, and they're going to wipe out here. There won't be any cap on the point by the time spawns come up, and that will be the first round going to Ascent.
Yeah, and 5 control points. I find a lot of times that the score line at the end is a little bit misleading. Koth, the score line at the end of a round is brutal. It's brutal to just be like, man, we had 2 minutes left. But I think there are some positives of that round that they can take, and it does really come down to just mainly a few moments. So we'll call this fight as it goes out. Right now, the jumps and the soldiers went a little bit better. Marmaduke distracting, stretching things outside, does stay alive, so is objectively better than last mid-fight for New Godflow. Sai guy jumping up, and the scout trying to come in to support, but Sai does crater down, and there we go. Zayler with damage on 404. 404 is down, Patty's down, Evil Mr. Muffins is down, and that just leaves Dingo running with his tail between his legs back to spawn.
Yeah, that was one of the things we were talking about in the pre-game is they had 2 good soldier bombs that drew a lot of attention, and then they didn't get anything off of it.
Yeah.
They split up Ascent and then failed to push in, so now they're in this situation where they just got to run a sack. It's actually going really well.
Yeah.
Delpo and Zayler are going to go down. Dingo does a great bomb. He's still alive back here, trying to get a sneaky health pack trap, but it's not going to happen. And they're going to cap the point off Uber, and their medic is under threat.
Wow.
Mercy is in a tight spot here, but Marmaduke will fall. I think a recap is in order here, but I mean, 20 seconds is 20 seconds. They'll take it. So now we'll see 404 come back in with an Uber and try to just take it straight up.
And that was a great hold and great movement from Nursey throughout that last engagement, but it also worked out completely fine for New Godflow. We'll see what they can do with this Ubercharge. Dingo getting behind the rock. 404 starting to get in that kind of questionable position where you need to move out of here quickly. Delpo coming in, putting some damage on Evil Mr. Muffins, who puts a big fat shot on him. Nursey coming in. Oh my god, Muffin's almost dropped her. But Nursey popping that uber charge in time. She's not going to have much health as it fades. And Side Guy is over there on the side. Side Guy! Huge rocket on Ames. And New God Flow is going to get the capture here. 50-second deficit, though. Nursey knows that there's some potential here for an off uber charge fight. But with the demo man here for New God Flow, plus reinforcements from Marmaduke Grills, it's not going to happen right now.
Yeah, you want to take a strong defensive position here where you can kind of spam them to dissuade them from getting too close. And here comes the first bomb. It's going all the way behind, and then it's going to go kind of around the horn here. Delpo and Side Guy are having a really awkward fight. Zayler gets taken out by Dingo, though, and that's going to pretty much sap all the strength out of Ascent. They'll turn around, clean up Delpo, and maintain their dominance over the point. We're going to see the times equalize as well as the Ubers here. So it'll be interesting to see. Ascent really hasn't had to deal with this yet tonight. Yeah. So we'll see what they're going to do in just a straight up Uber.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to charge high five in. Ames is floating around as well. Doesn't quite get in range for a flash. As the Uber charge comes out from 404, Ascent's just going to back up. The reset is in the favor of Flow. I do have to wait for Side Guy coming back up. And again, Delpo has slipped in behind. 2 down for Ascent, but as Delpo comes back in, they've gotten Dingo. Addy is down. 404 in a dangerous situation with, oh, okay, never mind. Delpo cleaned up. Actually, just Nursey up. No danger for 404. I take it back.
Yeah, a really solid hold. I mean, you'd rather not lose Dingo there, but at the end of the day, now they've got room to establish a forward hold. They give it up, though. I guess they got scared somebody would cycle over, but that's great time. They've got a minute advantage now, and still with Uber advantage because the way things played out there. So they're just going to keep 404 safe right now and then give it to them if they get too close.
Yeah, it's a little bit risky for Ascent here, but you know, just in the sense of getting punished by this Uber charge. And we'll see actually if Nursey can get taken out. Nursey has split off from the team, but back in spawn. But we'll be able to protect that Uber charge. They were trying to hit that window, it seemed, where the Uber wasn't up yet and just pressure into Flow. And New God Flow might concede this, which, oh, yeah, they lose maybe a little bit more than they would like to, including 404 here. You know, with Koth and all that time, if you just concede that would be no problem whatsoever. And keep your medic up. The bomb coming in from Marmaduke Grills here. Patty here as well. But this is going to be unsuccessful. They do want to capture the clock before the time runs out. Unfortunately for them, that's not what happens. If there's 1 second left on the clock, then it's a lot easier to get that overtime, and 0 is a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, now it's zeroed out, so if Flow recaps here, then they win. So yeah. It was solid. I liked that sack at the end there. Normally, you know, the rule of thumb is don't sack in after everybody's died because you respawns, but it prevented the cap.
Yeah.
So that was huge for them, and it might cause them to get around when they are at Uber disadvantage. So time is limited here, and they need to push in. The bombs are coming when Flow is not getting the higher end of this, but Nursey's at 30 health, but it's going to collect that health back. They're trying to cap it, though, and they just grab it.
Yeah,
Nursey backed away, and the whole team went with her.
Well, yeah, I sort of object to that move decision from Nursey there. You got to stay in with that time left. You know, her dodges are so great. She had like 80 health. You know, it wasn't necessarily a situation where you have to flee out of there. And as we mentioned, without that clock, time on the clock, I really think that Flow showed that they have the capability to, you know, potentially win here tonight. They're finally showing some, you know, understanding of strategy and leveraging the circumstances against Ascent. Right now, Yite has gone down, the first death of this mid. Flow improving with every single mid we've seen here. You know, just the last 2, but come on, that's everybody likes to see a little improvement.
Yeah, we'll increase your grade this semester. So that was actually a pretty nifty mid where both teams played it kind of passive, and then Sticky Trap just kind of wiped the floor with them. And now we'll see a Uber exchange on the point. Not a ton of damage really going down either way. Ascent are trying to put pressure on the point, but they're not in a position to really sustain that. However, they get fragged. They'll trade out Zayler essentially, but Dingo will go down as well, and that's going to end it. As long as 404 makes the great escape, it looks like he is hooked up with Patty, enjoying that speed boost. But that's still going to give him a minute. So, all things considered, and Ubers are still even, so they've got a position now where they could try to push in right now and try and just retake it before the invincibility becomes a factor.
Yeah, because they will have the spawn advantage. If they lose players now, just as the attacking team, they'll come back quicker. And they might be able to leverage that in the next post-Uber up follow-up. Dingo goes down as Marmaduke. Oh my god, Delpo going crazy! As he gets 4 was the count before Patty cleans him up. Ooh, wow.
We're going to see that in a frag video, hopefully, because I'm pretty sure Delpo pogoed off of another player to land on 404 and kill him.
Wow, yeah, he got 3 kills right at the end there.
Stuff.
Yeah, it says he killed Psy Guy with World, so I think he threw him down to the ground, and yeah, that's hopefully a top play of the month.
But that's going to bring the timer into Ascent's favor, and they are hard forward holding right now. This is classic. If you look up how to forward hold on Viaduct, this is pretty much what it tells you to do in the textbook. So. And it looks like Flow are they're not happy with this. They know they have Uber advantage, but the whole point of this forward hold is to make you pop Uber back and spawn and then run away.
You have to take a risk on one of these choke points. It looks like they're going to try to come out mid here. You mentioned they are just going to have to use that early. Psy Guy getting juggled, and now Dingo getting super aggressive, trying to chase out Nursey. She's gotten the health pack, though, on the backside. It's doing just fine, so Dingo's gone down. Patty has gone down. There goes Muffin. Psy Guy's going to have to go extremely huge here. Instead, he gets a huge surf and gets away, but they're going to need to get some times together, get a good push here.
Yeah, this round has gone into the vegetable drawer for Flow. It looks so promising at first, and now it's just rotting away. They are going to kill Zaylor and Ames, however, and that's going to help out quite a bit and force an Uber out now. You don't want that as Ascent because it's not going to result in a 404 kill here, and that might be enough to bring Flow back into this. They're going to grab this point right now. They even secure the frag on Yite, but he'll come back real quick.
Yeah, that's a big pickup for him. I mean, 2:14 on the clock is manageable. Also 33 seconds, you know, depending on the circumstance, that could be a fairly easy recapture. 404 here. Oh, wow, and a lot of pressure, but very calm against Delpo. Just takes 1 rocket from that, and then just bounces back for the pack. Now trying to move forward in from lower, the low ramp. Yite and Dingo trading each other, but the Demo Man, the more significant loss there for New God Flow. Him trying to jump in here, and just as quickly jumping away. Delpo trying to work the connector.
Yeah, this is a really good play from Flow here because they're just burning clock right now. Yeah. And they know they have Uber advantage, so you don't need to panic and pop that Uber. But unless 404, yeah, he gets forced now. If he'd have dropped there, it would have been the end of the round. But they're at least going to preserve this. Nursey will be forced off as well. 404 is going to make the great escape. Unfortunately, Patty gets kind of left hanging in the wind there. But they will have time to push before this timer runs out. So it's still fully within their ability to win this.
Yeah, they're going to have to get out there, get some big frags. About 12 seconds left on the clock here as the Dingo trying to work out through lower. From behind the rock, Psy Guy jumping forward, jumping to the side. A bomb in here from Ames, and that's going to push 404 back. 404 in a lot of trouble there. Ames getting a 2K right at the end of that. Somehow, some way, though, are managing to get the scouts on the point and get the capture. Mr. Muffins and Patty are going to have to go ridiculously big here, and I don't think Patty can taunt his way to victory this time. Not gonna find an opportunity to throw that out.
Yeah, I mean they had to cap it there, but there was just no hope. So that round went. It started out so great, and then it fell apart for Flow. We'll see if they can bring it back here. Their mids have been going fine. They won the last 2.
Yeah, it was just tough. I mean, it definitely seems that whichever team is able to establish a rhythm as the round continues ends up with a pretty good lead. But, you know, that is the difficult part of this game. Dingo does get a kill on Yite, but was extremely banged up as he backed up. Got killed by Zaylor. And Delpo, you know, sort of working that stair connector side. Mr. Muffin's pretty banged up. Ames floating through. Ames pretty banged up, but is able to tuck away to get an arrow. And, well, no more 404. He has gone down. The point is captured by Patty. New God Flow trying to keep some pressure on here, but no uber charge, no heals. Nursey's just going to walk in at some point here, just trying to make sure that she doesn't have to use. But there we go. It is pressured out of her. But they're going to get most of these other frags, though. Dingo taking a little bit of time. Actually, okay, he gets Delpo. But, you know, he's going to take 15 seconds to respawn here. So, you know, maybe could have just died earlier.
Yeah, and they're actually going to get him the fast respawn and then cap, which you know, gives him a good amount of time actually for that cheeky cap there. They are at about a 15% disadvantage our flow as they're pushing in to retake this. But they're in this position where they could just push in. We're looking for damage and frags right now, not really finding them. But no, I was wrong. Delpo is going to fall down there. Patty will trade out, essentially. 404 is really banged up. A high five is down. Oh, huge pipe from Zaylor. Takes out Mr. Muffins and nearly kills 404 with the backsplash.
Marmaduke being annoying right now. Behind enemy line. Steals the health pack on the left-hand side. We'll be able to stay up and get it as it respawns again before jumping out. Delpo going for the chase, though. And Delpo, yeah, actually destroys him. Rest of Ascent was rallying over to that side to check it out as well. Marmaduke will be right back, though, as these spawns come pretty quick here on that attacking side.
Yep, and now 404 has the full Uber advantage, and they're just going to try to push in here and hope nothing goes badly. There is a trap over on the left side, but it doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere near that. And we'll see. They want to try to get this moving quickly. Wow, Patty just goes in hard, runs out of the range of the Uber, and gets dead by Zaylor. Yite will fall as well, so that's okay. But then 404 goes down to a bomb from Delpo. He was back behind him, and they balled up on the point to cap it and lost their medic for it. And failed to cap the point as well. So that is a disaster.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Ascent soldier bombs have started to become contained. But on the flip side of that, Nursey is just dodging everything. And, I can't quite say the same for 404, you know. So whether it's coming from, you know, Yite or High Five or Delpo or Ames, they're getting the kills on 404. And Nursey, again, pressure coming in, but she just kind of floats backwards. And they've gotten 2 kills, only losing Zaylor.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt really bad because that was the Nursey Uber there. And they're going to recap it. They've got to burn a minute of this, and 404 is going to have Uber in 5 to 10 seconds. So they should be able to do some kind of a trade Uber here, but you've got to get the point off of Ascent. And then hold for 2 minutes. So a tall order again for Flow.
Sly Guy bombing in here. They do get a fairly quick Uber out of Nursey, but at the same time, they were also being aggressive forward. Maybe flashed it a little bit as well. Patty doesn't to air shot, but wow. Actually, coming in with the meat shot. Finish off Patty. Mr. Muffin's down as well, so Flo has no scouts, no swiftness to them, as they're going to go down on there. Sly Guy getting finished off by High Five. And Ascent maintaining control at this point. Just going to let that tick. They clean up Dingo. Now they're just going to have to clean up these other players. Let this point finish off. Getting a little bit of pressure here from New God Flow. And if they do capture it, though, there's definitely the possibility it might just be a quick retake.
Yeah, they're fighting their hardest here to try to grab this. 404 is alive now, but now they're just living on the overtime meat, basically. And they got to keep touching this point or the round will eventually end. Dingo super far forward is going to get 2 quick frags with the pipes before he too is taken out. But then the bomb comes in again from Delpo. And the Delpo bombs, let's check his stats real quick. He's almost on the bottom of the scoreboard. But those bombs are absolutely killing them. I mean, both literally and figuratively. They have to, when this goes to half, unless they do a miracle hold here, they've got to figure out how to stop Delpo from styling on him.
Yeah, Marmaduke definitely has to become effective as well. Just 15 points on him. Delpo again continuing to just jump and harass. And Mr. Muffin's kind of getting a little stuffed. Side Guy jumping around to the connector side. Marmaduke's over there as well. Marmaduke's gone down. Patty has gone down. Dingo in some serious trouble. 404 popping the overcharge, but definitely maybe a little too late there as only... Ooh, okay. About 3 players left for his team. Marmaduke has got a nice shot on aim there, but big bomb in from Delpo from behind. That's going to take down 404. They just need to clean these players up, get a quick recapture here. It's taking a little bit of time. The respawns are coming in here. Delpo looking the wrong direction.
He didn't even, he just stood there and didn't shoot. I think he was taking a phone call or something, because he just basically went AFK there, but his team still won anyways. He didn't want to get a highlight moment. But yeah, rough there. They got to stop Delpo from just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah. I feel like when the scouts are turning to deal with them, they're doing a pretty good job of dealing with Delpo. And I don't know if it's just no damage coming out from the soldiers, or the soldiers also need to be doing a better job of protection. But they're certainly having some pretty serious issues with it.
All right, well, I'll talk about stats real quick here, eXtine. So chat has probably mentioned it already, but High Five is having a great game. He is 35 and 5.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I talked about in the pregame of, if you're just outclassing a player on the other team, it'll show. High Five is blowing up tonight, 372 damage. On the other end, Zaylor on demo at 385 leads the server, so taking us back a few years to when demos regularly claimed that throne.
The Delpo damage stat is pretty exciting as well. 332 from him, which, really, he's the main one up there. I mean, the high damage scout for New God Flow, Mr. Muffins, is 320. While Patty and Yite have similar damage numbers. But Delpo, compared to Side Guy and Marmaduke Grills, is really doing a lot more damage. Between Ames and Delpo, that's about 120 more damage per minute, from the soldiers of Ascent over New God Flow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now the main issues are, it looks like High Five is just handling whatever gets put against him.
Yeah,
and that pretty much causes a defensive breakdown from there. Well, Delpo's free to move around because the scouts are dead. High Five killed him, so that's rough. I've also seen some pretty big shots. I'm not criticizing Side Guy's jumps or anything. I mean, I don't think he's just jumping in a straight line or anything, but he is like an air shot montage magnet right now.
Yeah.
And it's again, that might come back to the fact that Flow scouts are just being dealt with and by High Five. And so when Side jumps in, there's really nothing else to shoot at, and he gets double air shot by aim, and all sorts of other bad things happen to him.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a time to try some things out on that roamer. If you're struggling, whip out some other classes. I mean, I think that Viaduct is, kind of one of those weird ones that there's just a lot of possibilities, and there's tactics that could throw other teams off. But these teams are in a position where they're trying to play to win. So out new strategies and trying to be innovators is tough, especially in the case of New God Flow, where they're just trying to focus on the fundamentals. I'm sure right now, maybe they could whip out some crazy strat here, but they just need to work on their fundamentals of TF2. If they were to whip out a strat that is a good a secret meta thing right now, they just might not pull it off because their fundamentals are not as sharp as Ascent's are. So probably unlikely to see anything too wacky from them, but would be nice to maybe mix in a sniper or something, but probably not gonna happen.
I think it would be interesting to throw in the Marmaduke sniper just to see what it does, because some teams, again, we haven't really seen what Ascent does yet in response. But some teams just have like a mental break when the sniper is on the field in Viaduct, and it totally distracts them from playing their game.
Or a pyro or a heavy, right?
I'm a huge fan of bringing the heavy when you're holding the point, especially with both of these teams have shown, except for that one round where Ascent really forward held them at the end. Both teams have shown they don't really commit to forward holds. So you're having teams telegraph that they're suiciding into you when you're clear across the map. And a heavy deals with that real well.
Yeah. Yeah, engineer is my secret love of Team Fortress. Not always practical in this format. Viaduct, you have to have a really strong chokehold on the point, and at that point, you probably should just be something else because you probably have Ubercharge, and you need the flexibility of being Scout, or the firepower of being Heavy, or the range of being Sniper, or the air blast of being Pyro. So
yeah,
not a big engineer man.
NG's the BM breakout here.
Yeah,
where when you're really winning, you break out that NG just to win even more. Because it's usually, if they're going to try to run sacks on you and the sentry just shoots them out of the air for you, it makes it super easy. But we are back and live. Have Flow talked about what they need to do? Or will Ascent just put them away right now?
Yeah, I hope Flo got a good halftime talk, because they're going to need it for sure. Going to need some strategical adjustments. Patty, I'm sure, certainly gave them a nice mental workover, get them in the right mindset. Right now, they are fighting this pretty well. They have dealt with Delpo, but as I say that, 404 goes down to some stray spam from Zaylor. Patty now trying to get aggressive. He's going to go down. Saigai goes down. Muffin's pushing forward. Marpnik going forward. And everybody is dead on one team. And on the other team, everybody's alive. What does it mean?
Yeah, I call those an ace, as back to how many of us have played Counter-Strike. And that's not what you want to see, because that's guaranteed forward hold zone.
Yeah,
so,
look at this.
And Flo had absolutely no success against the forward hold last time, and they're just trying to get out here, and they are getting rocked.
They do have Saigai up top here, is going to pressure the Ubercharge out of Nursey. Muffin's basically just dying in the face of all of that. And we do have a Pyro on the... Oh, no. Dingo teasing us. A little bit of Pyro. But he's on the demo man here, as they're going to start trying to look to get out here. No Ubercharge for Ascent. Saigai able to work through the cliffside door. Does find Yite up top. Gives him a little pat on the back as Yite runs away. But he'll be fine. Skip jump over the top from Sai. Gets all the way behind, but extremely weak. And easily cleaned up by Yite.
And Nursey is actually down on the Uber right now, but Yite is running in and going for Dingo. He's out for blood, and he's going to get it. And then Yite will probably die, but Flo's defense is broken down back here in no man's land. And that's going to be probably down to a minute extra hold, with Flo not even having been able to touch the point yet. Well, tap it anyways. They got a little bit of touching gun at mid.
Yeah, Saigai getting up top here, but just eating a lot of damage versus Zaylor. Towards the end of that, Mr. Muffins comes in. It's a lot more damage on Zaylor, but not able to get the finish. And so far, it's just New God Flo losing players. Ascent completely healthy here.
The forward hold working as intended, and this is going to put them... They're going to build Uber in here. So they may try to actually break out, since it's even Ubers, and they can't wait the 30 seconds. So yeah, they are coming out, and they get devastated. It is not the best doorway to try to break the forward hold. And all that's really going on here is Muffins trying to win the game single-handedly, comes out to the right, gets 2 quick frags, and that's going to allow his team to get in. but and Ascent have the slower respawn time. So I think Flow's actually going to grab it here. They're going on to the point. Ascent are ceding ground. Aim will fall as well. Energized Muffins just keeps going here, but he's going to think better of it. But there is a Delpo behind them.
Yeah, he put some good damage on High Five there. Almost got the finish, but High Five was able to just kind of back up amidst the safety of his team. Delpo, as you mentioned, just now coming out on that concrete side. Jumps around to China. See, Uber charges out. Delpo now just getting into a fight with Marmaduke, with Sai getting the finish, but Marmaduke cratering. High Five has gone down. That's an important frag. Zaylor going down as well, so that now just reduced to 3 players. Delpo has respawned already, but without Zaylor and High Five, they do have to take a breather here and regroup themselves.
Yep, so, and that's going to give them a good 30 seconds, and that is going to be pretty close. They'll be only a minute down here, so it's another botch push from Ascent, and they're right in this. So we'll see what's going on. They're really stacking that left side here, our Ascent, trying to pressure that way and see what they can get. Lots of damage being traded back and forth, but nothing critical. It's basically a refight of the mid, and there we go. There's the first bomb behind. That's Delpo doing his thing. Yite is going down. Nope, he'll survive as well. It looks like they're dealing with Delpo. Dingo gets hurt really bad, but it's not going to matter. They end up sort of trading outside guy on that one, and Ubers are exchanged over the point.
Yeah, AIM's doing a good job of basically following up on Delpo's distraction. Got a frag and then continue the distraction. Zaylor has gone down, but they have gotten the capture. Was what they were looking for there, but certainly the question is, did they overcommit? We saw Flo being on the kind of the... are they going to finish capturing?
They're letting Marmaduke respawn. They wanted that Marma, and they've got to hold this for a minute. And really, with 12 seconds left on the clock, it would, if you lose the point, you're probably going to lose the round, and at this point, the game. So the fight is now going over mid again, and I assume we're going to see Flo play this pretty slow.
They're going to try to, but Delpo jumping over the top gets Dingo. 4-4 in trouble. He sees the rocket coming in at his feet, has to use the overcharge. They do block the capture, and no player is behind them. But are going to have to worry about the surge of Ascent players coming in. Ascent wants to capture the point here, keeping pressure on it, and they do get it. Just so many players. It forced Flo back. The capture was instantaneous. 404 in trouble. They are back. Marmaduke Grills trying to get it in here. Dingo as well, but they both get chewed up, spit out, and just like that, Ascent have finished this match.
Yep, so unfortunately for Flo, they showed some potential, but they just couldn't string it together. An interesting thing, too, Flo's strategy, I would wager, they really didn't shoot at Nursey, who, by the way, never died. So, for Nursey, mission accomplished, but there were times where people were standing directly next to Nursey and weren't shooting her, so that's, it must have just been a strat, and a strat that clearly didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, Nursey had great dodges. She had great Ubercharge holds. There was a brief moment where I doubted her, where I thought, okay, maybe she should have used it to save those couple players, and maybe she, lost an opportunity to use it and then regain it. But she backed up, maintained the Ubercharge, and then they basically just pushed back in with those respawns, in about 10 seconds and got the kill. She definitely was never really pressured enough, and again, that's partially, stems from issues of Marmaduke Grills not being very effective tonight, and Sai Guy as well. I mean, I think you have to lump them together a little bit, just in the bombs not being very effective, not very well synced up. Whether it's the rockets landing together or whether it's them jumping to distract at the same time. They just had some issues with effectiveness there for sure.
Yeah, and over on the other side, High Five still balling at 38-6, and he's not getting garbage frags. That the criticism on scout players sometimes is like, yeah, you get a great KD, but you don't do any damage because you're just cleaning up people with 2 health. But Not in High Five's case. Like, he was cleaning clock and just getting the kill as well.
Mhm.
Yike also doing quite well for himself at 31. So solid there. Aim and
Wow.
Dopo tie it up basically. Except
Yeah.
for the KD's a little bit better, but their damage both very high, 25 frags apiece.
Yeah, that nursing not dying at all is definitely a significant stat and a significant achievement, I would say.
Yeah, I already commented on the thread because that's
Yeah.
a legendary performance at that point. Even
Yeah.
if for whatever reason New Godflow just were purposely not shooting at her.
Yeah, I think attempt was there, but she had some great dodges. You know, Muffins probably I feel on the cusp of a fantastic game. If you maybe had, you know, a little bit more damage or efficiency or support in the right situations from Patty, if they were playing tighter together, as well as maybe the aforementioned issues with their soldiers. You know, obviously they lost 4-1, so there's going to be a lot of deaths more in the favor of Ascent. It's pretty easy to just say if everybody had stayed alive better, then they would have won, you know. But there's a lot of coordination and cohesion there that goes behind that simple statement, right?
If we'd have just got more frags, we would have won. But
exactly. If they just capture the point more times.
boom.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it looks like though, eXtine, that our other game over on TFTV2 has either not started yet
Oh.
or is at halftime. I couldn't tell you which is which, but I mean, there's TF2 on that channel right now, so we should probably just send you over there if you want some more. You got
Yeah.
Shadow Puppet and Corn Pop casting it, and well, they're great guys. So
yeah, that's without a doubt. I don't really have anything more to say about this match. It was a pleasure having you, Marxist. Thanks again to Nicell for doing production. Any final words from you real quick? No?
no, I'm good.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, buddy. Thanks again for all our viewers. Thanks again for all our players. Fantastic night of TF2. It's over for us, but not for you guys. You guys should tune into Team Fortress TV 2. I'm sure we'll host it here as soon as we're done here. Their game has not started yet. TF Crew versus Black Swan. Some fantastic players playing in that and some fantastic casters. Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Nicell and Marxist, I'm eXtine, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out!